live.
right.
The timing was the worst. We're live from NAILDCon 2023. We're so honored to be joined by Paul Irwin, the CEO, CRO of DiodeLED.com. Check him out, DiodeLED. You know, I really love that second portion of the presentation where you're in the panel discussion. And I think that a lot of times, you know, we're presenting, but we don't realize the kind of stuff that can come out of us when we're questioned by our peers from the side.
Yep.
How did you enjoy the panel discussion?
I thought the panel discussion was great. A lot of times it takes people being asked directly or letting a conversation go on so that they can think of their own objections. You know, a lot of times you talk to people and you pitch them like, oh, it sounds great, it's great, it's great. But then they start thinking on it and go, oh, I've had this experience in the past, or oh, I've used this product that caused these problems for me. And then it's kind of in that environment where the heart of the objection or the real questions come out, and that's when you make a breakthrough. So it was great.
And really what fundamentally came out of it was, you know, Sid was pushing you hard on the connector piece. I mean, it was interesting to see that.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yeah, I was stock it, no, but he's telling me yes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was pushing back, and then it emerged that the key was that connector piece that you guys have, the one connector.
Yep.
That's everybody here, I'm telling you, doesn't want to deal with the fussiness of all the different connectors.
No, and nobody wants multiple SKUs in general. But then you put a product category, into the mix where it's a lot of parts and pieces as it is. So if you can take something as infuriating as a horrible connector, which it was in the industry, awful, and turn it into something that's easy to use, doesn't fail, and it's just one, I think that's the key.
And one of our members here today in the audience brought up the point of selling tape lighting as like selling fries with it, like an additional sale. And I'm telling you that's what I thought of about 2 weeks ago. I was at a site. I was like, I did all their lighting. It's all done. And they're like, we have this neon lighting going all around our building, and we want to replace it with LED. And I'm like, okay, let me look into this, and I go up on top of the roof and I look at it. And it's not all that difficult, and you guys have the product. I'm selling your stuff. So
I appreciate that.
And and it makes it all LED, and I didn't have to do much work other than go on the building and say, this is what they got, take a couple pictures, send it their way. I got the price. Get it to them. Hopefully they buy. It should be any day now.
And that's a lot of, but that's a lot of the pitch though. Let us help you. You know what I mean? You take the notes. You know the customer. You have their confidence, and we want to build the confidence that you have in us, and let us design the system for you and get something that'll just plug and play, be an easy install in the field, and it'll last. Yeah,
and that's key. And we talked about the training you guys do too in the session, and I brought our team there, and I can tell you that was awesome for us because tape lighting, when you first think about it, it's like, it can be a little scary, right? Like you're worried about how you're going to do it, what you got to do. But you guys simplify it, you show everything, and it's made here too. And I think the other key I got is quality. My kids have the tape lighting around their bedroom. Half of them are out, they're falling or whatever. That's not the stuff you're selling.
No, it's not the stuff we're selling. And like I mentioned in the presentation, more and more of lighting design is going linear these days. So whether you've got a big project with a lighting designer on it, whether it's just somebody that wants to do elements around their house, a lot of it's going linear, and because of the fact that our stuff is so easy to use and work with, it's so long lasting. It can be so bright if you want. The light quality coming off is so good now, and it's easy to install in the field. That's what's causing a lot of this going the direction of tape light, going the direction of flexible linear lighting.
I'll tell you, my favorite lighting at my house is the toe kick lighting underneath the cabinet. What a difference that makes, and I'm not kidding. And you couldn't do that without tape light.
We hear a lot of bathrooms too. People,
under the bathroom.
Actually, yours in the bathroom? Yeah, so you're not like tripping around at night or somebody's, you know what I mean? It's just easy. It's not distracting you from sleep.
I don't think people think enough about wayfinding with tape light. That's I bet what you're talking about is wayfinding, right? Where it's not like you get up in the middle of the night, maybe the sensor doesn't turn on your main lighting, maybe it just turns on the toe kick lighting and stuff like that, because this kicks you out of your sleep and all that. Wayfinding is not. I think we could talk more about that with respect to tape light as well.
And just to get technical and kind of specific for one moment, warm dim lighting is becoming more and more popular. A lot of linear's gone warm dim, but for that application you're talking about, you put a warm dim tape light, but below a toe kick, and you dim it down at night to a Kelvin, to a color temperature. It's not even going to disrupt anybody in the house, not going to disrupt sleep and all that kind of stuff. So.
I've said this before, but to me, tuning in this time, I'm not going to say 2023 because maybe it won't happen this year, but tuning in, say, 2025 is like dimming in 1965.
I think so.
It's going to make a lot of sense to people. When we start to deliver easy-to-use solutions to clients when it comes to warm dim, the people will start to use it the same way they use dimmers. They'll get used to it. They'll want it. They'll call for it.
Well, let me make one comment on that. So there's sort of tunable, you mentioned. There's sort of two routes to that. There's warm dim, and then there's tunable white. The subtle difference is warm dim, at least in our product portfolio, operates the exact same way as a static color. And that's a huge point I don't think a lot of people get. We offer a linear solution where it's 2-wire, it's to the same driver you're used to using, and it's to the same dimmer you're used to using. So you just, you use that tape light instead of a different tape light. Everything else is the same, and you get the value of that warm dim. Now, on the tunable white side, we've done everything we can to make it as easy as possible as well. So instead of having a bunch of outboard controllers and crazy programming, this kind of stuff, we offer a product, and actually a different product family of ours, a different brand called Lucetta, but it's all condensed into one box. So where you have that power supply box, you'd also have the brain, so to speak, telling the tape light what to do.
He's asking you to stock more stuff, folks. He's stocking.
Yeah, so you sacrifice, you got one connector, but you need 3 more of everything else. That's right. Yeah.
Go to diodeled.com, and thank you for joining us at NAILDCon 2023. All you out there, come next year. Talk to you soon.